I think we're live. So, hello everyone.
Hello.
My name is Areti.
I'm Minghong.
And I'm one of the course organizers for this MOOC on data science in stratified healthcare and precision medicine.
And I'm a PhD student in Edinburgh, and I'm one of the teaching assistants for the course.
So you might have seen us. Well, you've probably seen me in some of the videos, and you might have come across Minghong's posts in the forums.
Yeah.
So today's session is really about catching up and giving an update on recent advances and news in data science in healthcare and medicine, and just to give our learners an update on what is going on with the course, and just touching base really.
Yeah.
We have run a few sessions like this in the past. The last one was a while ago, so it was about June, if I remember correctly. So we're back. There's going to be more. This session is going to be rather brief. I don't think it's going to go over half an hour, and it's just to give you an update on recent news in this area, remind you what the course is about and some topics that we've seen, and answer some of your questions from the forums.
Yes.
So just to say, today we're in a brand new building here in Edinburgh. It's part of the University of Edinburgh, and it's called the Bay Centre. So it's really new, brand new. So it was officially opened towards the end of October. So yeah, we're here. It's a lovely new shiny building, and there's lots of cool people working around. People working on data science and AI. And the whole mission of the Bay Centre is to use data science and AI to shape a better future. So this centre hosts academics, so university researchers, PhD students, as well as people from industry, so tech-oriented businesses, organizations from the public and the third sector. So just to give you an idea, there are people from the University of Edinburgh hosted in this building, people working in robotics and data science, people looking at ethics in AI. There's the Data Lab, who have kindly funded our course. The Data Lab, in case you don't know, it's an innovation centre in Scotland, supporting collaboration between different partners in the country, working on data science projects. And apart from kind of large established businesses like IBM being hosted here, there's also startups and spin-out initiatives as well. So that's, I think it's an exciting place to be. So in the last maybe 3 or 4 years, there's been a data science-oriented initiative in the University of Edinburgh, and that's why we are running this course as well. There's even more courses run by the university. We'll talk about those in a minute. And there's some recent developments around this area is what is called the City Deal. So the Edinburgh, Edinburgh and South East Scotland City Region Deal. We call it the City Deal. And this is a very well-funded program for data-driven innovation in the wider area. So the mission or the ambition is to turn Edinburgh and this region into the data capital of Europe. So hopefully, in a few years' time, there's going to be even more exciting things to be talking about. So just to give you an idea of the kind of work that takes place in this building, in the Bay Centre, there's a lot that is not directly related to healthcare, but there are some new fellows employed in data-driven innovation. So I'm going to talk about 2 colleagues who do really interesting research. Mm-hmm. So Petros Papapanayotou is a colleague that used to be with the School of Informatics, and we work a lot together. We have common research interests. So he works on process modeling, formal verification, and workflow analysis applied to healthcare. While Athina Spiliopoulou, who's also a fellow with this new program, does more precision medicine related stuff. So she develops machine learning and statistical methods with applications in genetic and molecular epidemiology. So I think some of the areas or the problems that she's been looking at include prediction of treatment response in rheumatoid arthritis, risk stratification for colorectal cancer, and risk stratification for type 1 diabetes and its complications. So yes, exciting stuff, and hopefully we'll convince them in one of the following Hangouts to join us and talk about their work. So enough, I think, with the news from Edinburgh side. I was wondering if you have any wider news to share with our learners.
Yeah, I'd like to share some news about data science in health in general. And according to the viewpoint on the medical journal JAMA, and a computer scientist, Hinton, he pointed out that deep learning has the potential to effect major changes in clinical medicine and healthcare delivery. And there's another article supports his idea and summarizes the factors that drive this wide adoption of deep learning and other forms of machine learning in the health ecosystem. For example, for digital imaging, it's impossible for human interpretations to capitalize on the patterns. But deep learning and related machine learning methods can learn from massively greater numbers of images than any human expert. And in this way, we can lead to a more effective image-guided therapy. And also in another way, digitization of health-related records is accelerating. So these data sources provide new opportunities to develop more applications for data science. And in addition, I want to mention that deep learning has many advantages, as it is highly adaptable and it has enormous capacity. And it also shows promise for streamlining routine work by healthcare professionals and empowering patients. In this way, we can have a more safer and more humane healthcare. And we also can find there are many researches done by using data to make our lives better. And for example, there is a FAR Institute based in UK and focus on using big data to advance the health and care for patients and the public. And according to the one research report, taking as an example, a group of researchers worked together to analyze anonymous data on more than 5 million patients taken from their GP records to see how BMI was associated with 22 different types of cancer diagnosis. And yeah, FAR Institute is based in UK widely.
Yes, it's a UK-wide thing.
I don't know, recently, is there any news about?
So, well, there's different hubs or centres of the FAR Institute in the UK. One of them is in Edinburgh. So I don't know if any of you have watched one of our previous Hangouts. We were hosted in the FAR Institute, and basically that's where we sit, Meng Hong and I. That's where our offices are. So there's been a lot of interesting and really groundbreaking work done through the FAR Institute. But as far as I know, it's come to the end of its lifetime. So there was funding for a specific number of years, and now there's a new scheme called the Health Data Research UK, kind of supporting similar work in the UK. So data science and AI in the life sciences. So we're confident that this kind of work will keep growing and improving healthcare and medicine. Touching on the deep learning news and discussion that you presented earlier. So just to say that we do not focus on deep learning in this course, but we do mention what it is. And so in week 3, when we look at machine learning, we did talk about neural networks and deep neural networks. That's all it is. Deep learning. There's been a lot of hype lately around deep learning, and well, no wonder, because as you mentioned, the advances that we've seen in imaging are unprecedented. So when someone asked me about maybe 8 years ago, so what do you think the future of AI is going to be? And I said, oh, it's going to take ages. And there you go. I never thought that where we are now was possible that soon. Yeah. So you never know what is going to happen. I was recently reviewing some papers for an AI conference, AAAI, the AAAI conference, looking at biomedical applications. And I was looking at some papers to do with imaging, and it's impressive. It's really impressive. So yes, I think there's more to come from methods like this. Anything else you want to share?
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Okay, good. Then maybe worth reminding our learners where we are with the course and what topics we discuss and how things are run, basically. So, as you know, the course consists of 5 weeks, and there are deadlines for these weeks. So there's quizzes and some assignments, but most of the deadlines are quite flexible. So, you know, if you're trying to catch up and you don't think you have enough time, don't worry. You can, even if you're on week 3, let's say, of the course, you can still catch up on content from week 1 or week 2. So that's good. I think that's, for me, this is one of the winning points of courses like this, because, you know, people are busy. So it's good to have the flexibility. And we start our course with an introduction to programming, and we use Python in this course. Python is a very powerful and established programming language, so that's why we've chosen it. And there are specific packages that are really good for data science, so we're going to be talking about that in a minute. So in week 1, we introduce the course, and we talk a little bit about programming with the use of Python. So we use Jupyter notebooks in this course to do our programming, but you are welcome to download an IDE for Python. So install it on your own machine and run your Python programs there. Then on week 2, we look at sequence processing and medical image analysis, which, as said, I think is an exciting field. Week 3, we look at a different type of modeling. So we look at networks and how we can model such networks. And these are very common, say, in biology, where we look at pathways, for instance. And we also look at probabilistic modeling, so statistical methods, as well as machine learning. So we try to keep it rather broad. So we cover both supervised and unsupervised learning. And this is really about giving you a flavor of what kind of methods there are out there. So if you're interested, say you're on week 3 and you're excited about machine learning, right? And you want to learn more about, I don't know, deep learning, for instance, there are lots of courses available, many of them available for free from platforms like Coursera or edX or DataCamp or Udacity, or I'm missing a few, but they'll come back. And there are also resources, so not kind of online courses, but resources that you can use to practice and you know, extend your understanding of these concepts. So a lot of it can be for free. Depends on, you know, how much you want to dig a little bit deeper. There's the opportunities are endless, basically. So I think that's great. It's a great time for online learning. Right, moving on to week 4, we look at a different type of data. We look at text, so text-based data. And in healthcare, it's very common. So you have, say, clinical notes, or you have clinical reports, which are very often written by hand or sometimes just typed into the computer. But making sense of those in an automated fashion is hard. There's been some advances lately, so I think this is an exciting area, and I'm really glad we decided to include it in the course. So you're going to have a look at different natural language processing tasks and some computational methods used there. And we're also going to be looking in week 4, looking at process modeling. So remember we said on week 2, we're looking at, week 3, we look at modeling networks. That's one way to view the world. Processes is another, a different way to view the world. So this is an area that sits very closely to my heart, because that's what I do in my research. I try to discover and model healthcare processes and make sense of them. So analyze them, verify them, improve them, ultimately. That's what I'm interested in. And finally, on week 5, we have a look at graph data, which is a representation paradigm that is more flexible than, say, traditional relational databases. So that's very good for sharing data, in my opinion. And throughout the course, throughout all 5 weeks of the course, we include case studies, so interviews with academics, with researchers working on data science in the life sciences, people from industry. So we have people from IBM and Aridia talking about their work, and people from the NHS, people talking about the National Data Safe Haven in Scotland. So yeah, there's a lot to there's a lot of exciting work happening. So we just decided to pick those to share with you. But we're very keen on hearing about new work, research that you're familiar with, or industrial projects that you're excited about. Feel free to share them in the forums. And this is a great space, the forums, for everyone to interact and learn from each other. I've been talking for a while. Please, Minghong, save me.
So we noticed that many people were talking about assignment review, asking for review for assignments on the forum. And I know that for everybody, the minimum to finish this course is assignment, to finish 2 assignments reviewing. But we know that according to reviewing, we can learn a lot as well. And it will be a good opportunity to get others' idea and sharing ideas. So it would be great that if you are interested to do more, and it's very welcomed. And if you are not, then go ahead to do more reviewer. And also we noticed there are some questions for this Hangout today.
Well, before we talk about those, sorry to interrupt, but it's worth mentioning, and I forgot to mention it earlier, there's been a lot of there's been quite a few questions in the forums in the last month or so around Jupyter notebooks. And yes, we are aware of it. So basically, notebooks have been temperamental lately. So I think that the Coursera platform, they've been doing some changes on their platform. So that had an effect on the Jupyter notebooks. So a few weeks ago, I know that it was either impossible for people to open a notebook, or they were slow, or they were crashing. I think that now this has been resolved. But if this is not the case, please go in the forums and let us know. And we'll keep. We'll try to resolve it. But letting us know is important. And then there was another message in the forums about a week ago around a particular notebook, and that's the one on natural language processing. So basically, when you try to import the NLTK package utilities, it just runs forever, and then you get an error saying connection timeout. And so thank you for raising it. I've checked it as well, and that is the case. So we're trying to resolve this in collaboration with Coursera. So we're onto it, and we'll let you know as soon as possible by replying to your questions in the forums.
And yeah, for the questions for this Hangout, we have a question from Minos from Glasgow, and he said he would like to work in dry lab instead of a wet lab in the future.
So he has a healthcare background then?
He has a MSc of pharmacy.
Okay, yeah,
used to be. And he asked for some suggestions about enhancing his data science and programming skills for applied to precision precision medicine field specifically. And I'd like to say that because precision medicine is really an interdisciplinary area, so it's a very wide area, in fact. And for data analysis, and R and MATLAB will be very useful. And also R is very common used because it's free compared to MATLAB.
Yay.
And I think on Coursera, there is a specialization with 10 suggested courses, and especially for data science. It's just called data science and delivered by Johns Hopkins University in US. And yeah, it's worth to check those 10 courses. And one of the courses is just called R programming, and it's on Coursera, and it will be useful.
So I have to say, so I've looked at this course and I think it's great. So I personally recommend it.
Okay. And great. And another one is for Python. As we said, it's very powerful programming language. And for Python, there is a course called Python for Data Science. It's on edX, another platform for online courses. And I think we also have some courses in Edinburgh for data science. Any recommendations?
Yes, so there's a data science, technology and innovation program, educational program in Edinburgh that includes a wide range of courses. So these are not MOOCs, so they're not available on Coursera or edX or one of those large-scale platforms, but we use other online learning platforms widely used in so I teach a course there called Medical Informatics, and basically it's a gentle introduction to data science in biomedicine and healthcare. So in the course, we look at different representation paradigms. So we look at relational databases, we look at graph data, and in particular semantic web data, and we also look at analyzing, so the statistical analysis of data with the use of R. For the first two parts of the course, so for relational databases, we'll learn how to use MySQL, and for the second one, we learn how to formulate Sparkle queries and express our data in the Turtle serialization format. And well, in addition to such introductory courses, there are other courses as well in that program. So there's a course on visualizing data. There's a course on the ethics of data science. There's courses to do with data science in health, or so for instance, telemedicine and telecare. And there's even courses around vision and robotics. So there's a big, there's a wide range.
Oh yeah, there is only one, like the intro for Python to data science in DataCamp.
Oh yes, so for talking about online learning platforms, in addition to Coursera and edX and so forth, there's also DataCamp, which is different. So I don't think there are that many videos, but there's a lot of hands-on practice, which I personally enjoy. So I mean, I'm a big fan of all these platforms. So probably I say, yeah, go for it. Yeah, and they have a course there. Do you remember what it's called?
Intro for Python to data science.
Okay, great, good. So yes, so Minos, if you're interested in improving your programming skills, these are just a few ideas for you and the rest of our learners.
Yeah.
But just to say, so I would say, so there are different facets to the data science experience. So the programming and the technical side of things is one, but then there's the domain knowledge that you have. So in your case, Minos, I suppose it's the pharmaceutical side of things or the life sciences side of things. And then there's all the sort of peripheral topics related to data science in healthcare. So to do with ethics, to do with security, to do with data sharing, data storing. So just like Minghong said, it's a wide, broad field. Yeah. So suppose the way to think about it is, what is it that you're interested in? What do you know already? And what do you think is important for you to learn to go where you want to go, if that makes sense. Happy to discuss this further in the forums with you or any of our learners. And in fact, I'm pretty sure some of our learners would have suggestions too.
Yeah. And we have another question from David for this Hangout, and asks about, what do you think about this precision medicine development in another 5 years' time? And what do you think about it?
It's a tough question. It's a tough question. So is it still going to be around? Yes, it's going to be around.
Yeah.
Is it going to be bigger? Yes, I think it's going to be bigger. I think there's going to be, so I think we're going to continue with the advances that we've had in the technical side of things. As mentioned, to me, working with unstructured data is where there is a lot of, I think it's an exciting area. So working with images, working with natural language, so text, I think there's a lot of potential there. So my gut feeling is that in the next 3 years or so, we're going to see big developments especially in natural language processing. Yeah. And what the focus is going to be in the next 5 years, I think that some questions that we're still trying to answer, I think we're going to make progress with those. So questions around ethics. I think people are more aware now of the opportunities, but also the challenges, the risks to do with data sharing and data protection, so security as well. I think there's going to be a lot of work on these sort of complementary areas that will facilitate and enable precision medicine to become really big. What do you think, Mingfeng?
In next 5 years' time, it's really tricky because everything's just changing so fast, and it's really hard to predict the future. And especially with machine learning, like a new tool, so it really accelerates everything development. And I don't know, I think we would be better for sharing data and really use data. Like, for example, now in Scotland, we have Safe Haven which stores all data. And I'm not sure, is it the only one in the world that we share data in whole nation, kind of? Because usually it's like data just sits in different hospitals, and it's quite wasteful, because if we don't have enough size of data, then we can't really use the data with like its potential. So so take Scotland as an example. Maybe in next 5 years in this world, we will share data, like we have better regulations for encrypt patients' data. How do we encryption it, and how do we store it together and share it globally? And that would be really useful for big data analysis. And I'm also looking forward to a better regulation. Like currently we have GDPR, and and there's still many people working on like how do we, because of course we appreciate our privacies, and so a lot of work still to be done to protect data and also share it.
Good. And it's I have to say it's great that you mentioned GDPR, because this is one of the topics that we discuss on week 5. So in week 5, which is the last week of the final week of the course, we talk about society, law, and ethics. And GDPR is one of the recent developments in this area. So I hope we'll continue the discussions in the forums. Anything else? Any other questions for this Hangout?
That's all the questions.
That's everything. Great. Thank you, Minos, and thank you, David, for posting your questions. And thanks to everyone participating in the forums. I'd like to encourage everyone to post their thoughts or questions or comments there, and we'll be around to participate as well. Great. I think this is everything. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching. There's going to be another Hangout in about a month's time. So our plan is to have a Hangout for about every month or every month and a half. So see you around. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.